All right, what's happening, everybody? Welcome back to the Spring Legion podcast. I'm your host, Hunter Ferrier, joining you alongside Chase Ferrier again on this very mild January day. It is 2026
Yep,
now, so
just
that's
made it.
pretty cool. Pretty cool in my book. Means we're in the year in which the oncoming turkey season will be, and if that doesn't get your uh, that don't get your blood hot, at least the birds and stuff you're starting to kind of hear a little bit here and there return from their very short 2 week winter slumber. It
Yeah,
seems starting to hear some familiar sounds and stuff that you associate with spring, and seeing some was it dandelions? I guess is that weed that comes out kind of first, and then the daffodils. We ain't got a lot of daffodils around here, but I remember in Georgia that was kind of a telltale sign that good news is on the way in terms of turkey season. But nonetheless, we're back. We apologize for leaving you hanging last week. We were spending time with family and stuff, and kind of under the radar, getting ready for what happened to be the biggest release of Spring Legion yet,
right.
which at the time of this recording happened about 2 hours ago, and that is the new um, Spring Legion turkey hunting vest.
Yep.
So that's I'm not even going to go with hours on how many hours we're spending to putting this together, but days, because I'm sure it is. I mean, literally years. Honestly,
Like honestly, years.
we um we kind of started this project. I was living in Georgia, so that was what 2 3 years ago.
Every bit of 3 years ago.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and dwindled away, dwindled away, dwindled away, and to me, and you know, I think to a lot of folks who get it, really honed in on making the perfect turkey hunting vest.
Right.
And down to every daggum stitch. I'm sure Chase and my wife and everybody who's associated with it, including the manufacturers, are tired of me nitpicking about every little thing, but that's what turkey hunters do.
Right.
It's just a trait of turkey hunting is being meticulous about everything, and I am meticulous to the degree of aggravation when it comes to stuff that I wear in the turkey woods. And I wanted a vest that kind of cleared
Yep.
all the checks, you know.
Fit that bill.
And we've been grinding on it literally for multiple years. And if you haven't checked it out, check it out at springlegion.com. You can save 10% on it with pod 10 as your discount code, POD10. Um, but that's kind of the theme of today's episode is turkey hunting vest, and it's not necessarily a vest dump because my vest is indumpable, so to speak, because it's split between about 13 different samples,
Yeah. Right now.
and that is not like me because I mean, my turkey vest is sacred. You know,
Yep.
it is my baby. I take care of it. It gets put in on top of the box after everything else goes into the storage totes and stuff. My vest goes in last, folded neatly and everything, and I don't open it until usually late January, mostly to retain the smell of that box because that's my favorite part about it is opening that box back up and smelling turkey season for the first time in what feels like a lifetime. But so I hope y'all appreciate that I sacrificed all of that to
Yeah.
get this joker out in time for y'all to get one before spring rolls around. Then yeah, I want to say me and Devin were taking pictures and I had to open the box. I'm like, just let me have about 10 seconds
Yeah.
because that's all you get really. And but no, I mean we're going to talk about kind of the I guess those meticulous little things we're picky about with a vest and what we like to see in a vest and kind of goes hand in hand with um, what we got here laying on the table in front of us. This is we've got the original bottomland one. We've also got them in green leaf, but to hit on a couple little pieces of it, I wanted the vest fit high and tight and not flop and not hit my knees when I'm crouching around and stuff like that. And um, we took away a lot of stuff. Everything that I deem unneeded in a
Mm-hmm.
vest. Made sure we didn't include it. And the things we did add as far as features go, we made it kind of MOLLE compartment compatible. So if you do have existing MOLLE compartment type accessories and stuff like rangefinder pouches, thermocell holders, Um, everything we've got a detachable box call holder that's on there, so you can take it off.
Right.
You can put it on the side. You can put it in the back. You can put a hydration system in the back. As far in the hose comes out the front and comes in over the straps it down. You can add whatever you want to it, but you ain't
You gotta have it.
right. You're not locked down with having that.
Right. It's not stitched on kind of
Yeah,
thing.
and that's
Um,
leaving the options open is all I was really going for.
right. Other than the what you gotta have kind
Right.
of thing. What we deem as that at least. Thing I like about it is the no pockets on the inside
Mm-hmm.
where it's gonna rub your anything like that.
Well, it keeps it low profile, so it's
Right.
always hugging you,
Mm-hmm.
and everything is going to be on the outside. Everything that's in the inside, I've had vests with pockets on the inside. A lot of fumbling goes around when you're trying to go underneath and inside of something,
Yeah.
and it makes everything stick out, and then you snag on stuff and whatnot.
Yeah. And I also like the removable box call pouch because I don't carry a box call, which I'm one of the rare people that don't. Which I think there's
I
more.
don't know. I think a lot
there's
of
more-
folks don't.
Right. There's more people that don't. Now that I've talked about it, I've gotten some feedback that I'm not alone.
Yeah.
So it's that's a good thing for me, because I don't want to necessarily carry it, but put a thermocell pouch there or something like that, and go with that instead. So.
And I do carry a box call, and I carry a very small box call.
Mm-hmm.
And so I wanted to make sure these box call holders don't rattle with it.
Right.
And that's as small as you're going to make a box call right there. So if it don't rattle with that, it ain't going to rattle. I'm shaking it for those who are just listening and not watching. I'm shaking it as we speak.
Right.
If it don't rattle in that, it ain't going to rattle. And, yeah, you can take it off of there, put it on the side. I like to put it in the back of mine.
Mm-hmm.
The only bad thing is that it always falls down. So we kind of incorporated some MOLLE straps in the back. It's kind of like something you've always thought of, and you're kind of built yourself in a situation where you can do that now. You can make the range. If nothing came out of it, I told my buddy Gary, he ran a vest like mine for years, and I said, if nothing comes out of this, I'm at least getting me and you a sample so we can properly retire the vest we got. Tell me some things you want to make of it, because he also likes his fitting high and tight, and it turned out good.
Oh yeah, I agree.
I think folks are gonna like it, and but yeah, so we're gonna tell you a little bit more about this vest, and then we're also gonna kind of spill into some stuff, vests we've had in the past, and I got a story involving a vest that I'll tell here in just in a moment, but yeah, y'all check them out, the new Spring Legion turkey vest at springlegion.com, and do use code POD10 for 10% off. I apologize for those who have already purchased one before this episode comes out. And I'm saying that with a slight reservation because there is a limited quantity available.
Yep.
I hope there's still some there when y'all go check them out. This will come out on Monday. I hope there's still some there. I think there probably will be, maybe not. And all the options, there's a bottomland and a green leaf option, as well as an XL version. The XL version's got an extra 4 inches on the actual material to add into the waist circumference. The regular and the XL both come with spare extensions for the front straps. So you clip them on the front straps, it goes around your belly kind of. That adds an extra 10 inches of wiggle room, or what have you there. And then the XL is kind of the extendo version. It has a 14 total inches to it, or no, 18 total inches to it. There's 4 on each side.
Yeah, 4 on each side, 10 in the middle. Yeah. So
But
pretty versatile, and
yeah.
they can adjust up real high and even real low for height.
Right. Yeah, I put it on Logan Cook, who is 6'6", 6'7",
something like that. Yeah.
and he stripped the straps down, and it hung right on him. And I think my wife's put it on, and she's I don't know how tall she is,
5'6",
probably maybe
about the same.
And fit her fine all the way up. She wasn't even all the way to the top on the adjustments. So.
And I mean, I even when we were getting measurements for sizing and stuff, I think I put it on somebody's older kid, not like a kid, but like 12, 13-year-old kid, and he's not a very large fella, but I mean, it cinched up all the way, and he was able to hunt with it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And it wasn't skin tight, but he could have used it even on a 12, 13-year-old kid.
Yeah, absolutely. So. It and the thing about it is the little things like this is these straps to go. The straps on top of the straps to keep those straps from tangling and stuff. So when you do have it all the way cinched up, you don't have a double layer of shoulder strap going on. They also kind of coincide with holding your hose down if you got a hydropack back there, and that's why I didn't want elastic here, so you can clip a GoPro thermocell on that,
right.
And this will not go past this buckle. So if you do need to do that, you can put it on there and it ain't sliding down. Yeah, I could literally. I ain't gonna waste the whole episode telling y'all about this vest because I mean, there's so many little knickknacks and stuff from the way the drink holder mesh pocket is positioned to the MOLLE attachment slots that go over it for thermocell holders and stuff like that. Is the silicone on the butt pad.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a believer that a turkey vest is supposed to have a flopping butt pad.
Mm-hmm.
That's just.
I agree.
I think of, and I'm pretty sure this was Glasscock Island when Will Primo shot the turkey, and he's got his like wing hanging on by a string. And I think you see his like butt flapping as he goes out to get it. That's just like an iconic moment. If not, I think of a lot of other times, and that has happened. The sound of wing beating on the ground, of a turkey you just shot, but also like the sound of a butt pad getting kicked by the back of your thigh, as you're running out to him. It feels right. And because if you see somebody standing up and their butt pad's flapping, just hanging loose, y'all probably just shot something. So it's always like associated that to me. Because if you get up and you're making a move or whatever, you just put it up. And so, I wanted to include that and make it thin. I'm not a sitter. I don't sit for too long. Just comfortable enough to last a good while, but it's not a lazy boy recliner back there that's going to snag on every branch as you slip through the woods and stuff.
One thing that I think people are going to have questions about is no magnets in here.
Yeah, no magnets in there.
So that's a big thing.
Yeah, I've never really been a huge fan of magnets because I want to stay in there.
Yeah.
I have worn a vest that had the magnets on the back and stuff, and it fell a lot.
No, they never hold up.
They when you're trying it on in the store, they don't fall. But when you're trying to get through a thicket, it falls a lot. And so I think a little biased after that one, kind of put a bad taste in my mouth with magnets. But also, I wear a bino harness and stuff. They make some without magnets and stuff. To my knowledge, I think magnets kind of screw with compasses.
Right.
Which now, I guess, is in your phone, when it comes to navigation and stuff. And I've gotten, and me and you both actually got bad turned around in some woods one time.
Yep.
Because yours was saying go one way, mine was saying go another way. We just had to pick one, and finally I turned my tracker on the map, and we had done circles, and we were just going back and forth, and it was pointing this way and this way, and we're like trying to find turkey. We're trying to get out of there. I'm like, dude, we're really lost actually.
Yep.
And so that's when I don't know if one of us had a magnet on their chest or something next to their phone, and that was throwing it off, or I don't know if it's a service issue or whatever. But I'd rather not worry with it. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. And I'm with you on that board. I'm not a fan of magnets. Never was.
Yeah.
So.
And that's good. But anyway, so I got a story to tell about turkey vests. I'm sure you don't, because that's kind of a hard topic to just think of like that. Do you have a story about turkey vests?
Right.
Take that as a no.
Pretty much, yeah.
All right.
Pretty much no.
What was your favorite turkey vest before this one? And I'm assuming this is going to be your favorite. You hadn't been able to hunt it too much. I've gotten to hunt in it for a couple years.
Is it rough that I say the one I didn't carry one?
I mean,
which doesn't make sense, but that going from my Dixon, which was a great turkey vest, but it was heavy, I ended up just kind of dropping down to very little stuff. I enjoyed my Dixon. It wasn't very adjustable, but it's a good tighter fitting vest, but it was a cool vest to have, I guess.
Yeah.
I've had a few. I hadn't had many turkey vests, honestly. I've had
mine for a long time because I always wanted it back.
Yeah, I didn't love it because it covered my my pant pockets. It was too long,
That was a good vest, though.
but it was a good vest. It was laid out well. I don't even remember
Can
which
I have
one
it
that
back?
was. Yeah, it's at the house.
Um, that,
Um,
I got a lot of turkeys in that one. It's I got, and the one we're talking about, I think, is the Super Elite 2
maybe.
from Mossy Oak back 2012, maybe. It was a good vest. I mean, I appreciated those vests. It wasn't a strap vest, but
Right.
it was a good vest, and they don't make them like that anymore. I don't think, but if I say I think I did buy one. And I'm a bit of a collector
Mhm.
of the vest, you know, of the originals and stuff, the original strap vest from Mossy Oak, and the cool old school patterns and stuff. I keep them, and I've hunted in them before too.
Oh yeah.
Um, my favorite vest, I think to this day though, was like a $30 field line vest from Walmart. I can't remember who I was talking with the other day about them, but they weren't good at all. But a lot of good memories were made in them. Like every snap, every zipper on them broke, but I feel like everyone who was like 15 years old had those because they're like just the ones from Walmart you go get,
Right.
and so everybody kind of had those in their core memories of like screwing around in the turkey was more than actually like hunting them.
Right.
But that's when a lot of good memories are made. So that's one I know is hung up in a closet somewhere. But
Is that the ones that used to come in like the breakup, the old black color breakup?
that's probably a super elite
That might be what
original
that
one.
is. Yeah.
I
I remember you had one at one point.
yeah,
I think
I
that was in
think
that.
I think I did, but
Or
this
maybe
one
I
was
did.
like old school obsession one
Okay.
I had.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I know which one you're talking about now. Yep.
It
The shoulder one.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That was a good vest. I
Mm-hmm.
wore it a few times
It,
actually.
it wasn't a great put together vest, but I didn't expect much for
Right.
whatever, $40 at Walmart at the time. But it was fun to have, and a lot of good memories were made in it. And then I went to then that's probably when I got that one.
Yeah.
You still have it when I went to college. But then but when I hunted that turkey 83 times, I went through some vests.
Mhm.
I changed everything I could think of. I changed the patterns of my camo, the deodorant I wore, the side of the bed I slept on. Went through a couple vests there. Got a really bulky one, and that's when I said I got to fix this.
Yeah.
This is like walking around with a Hilton hotel strapped to your back, and I was like, this is too. Who in the world needs all this stuff? And I couldn't take it off, and
Mhm.
it just pissed me off. I'm like, this is not an asset. This is a liability I'm
Right.
wearing here.
100%.
And the butt pad was about 8 inches thick. There was 11 different straps to adjust, and they all had about 19 inches of excess, you know, nylon webbing hanging off of them and stuff.
Right.
And I couldn't get my hand in the pocket without getting caught in some kind of snare. 16 different striker pockets and 11 box call holder things and
Yeah.
mouth call pouches for your mouth call pouches. And I was like, okay,
Had 3 of them.
yeah. And you had nine buckles to undo to get the seat down. And then when you put it back up, you had a magnet the size of a penny holding it together, and it fell about 11 times. And I was like, okay, we're going to figure this out. And then that's when this kind of all started, honestly, before Spring Legion was figuring out a way to take away. Because a good turkey vest in my mind is one that don't get in your way, you know?
Right.
And, and hopefully it does that. I think it will. But not the story, when this ain't a story about a vest necessarily, but it got me thinking is chasing Brexon here too, running the camera over there, because we have failed to do good at this camera stuff because we can't really see the backside of it, and it has cut off on us a couple times. It's run out of battery a couple times, including the last episode, and Chase forgot to turn it on one of the episodes. And out of four, three mess ups is when you call in somebody,
Yeah.
So we got Breck. He is the monitor watcher today, and you good over there, Breck? All right. So but anyway, so this is past season, and it's the last hunt I did in the vest I've worn for the past 10 years probably,
Mhm.
and the vest I'm wearing is kind of the end result of that turkey I hunted in 2017. Y'all know the turkey I'm talking about, the 82-1 turkey that I hunted literally 83 times, and I tried everything I think of, but I learned more from that turkey than I have any other turkey, and a lot of turkey have died on behalf of that knowledge that I've gained from that turkey. Um, and that's the single. We all have a moment where we realize what turkey hunting's about, and that was it for me. Was holding him and how quiet the woods were that morning. At 8:37 or whenever that was, for the first time in several seasons, there wasn't nothing there to hunt the next morning, and there was a little solemn of a feeling, a little an odd feeling that I wasn't expecting, and I realized that turkey hunting, the addiction, the obsession, all that stuff that comes with turkey hunting, comes from the failures more than it does the success. I that's where the appreciation lies, is the difficulty in it, and but that being said, as difficult as it is, I wound up with a vest that didn't get in my way,
Yeah.
and that's when I was like, okay, I found something kind of close to what I'm thinking about, and that wound up being the vest I ran for the last 10 years, probably, or 9 years, I guess now. Um, but even then, it was hard parting with it.
Right.
When we started getting samples in, and I'd warn samples when I'm hunting with somebody and I ain't shooting and stuff, and I don't really need my stuff. I'd wear the samples and run it through it, and then if it was just me hunting, I'd put my vest back on, not the Spring Legion sample vest, the one I've always worn, just because it felt right, and I was familiar with it, and it takes some breaking into to get used to other stuff. So this vest resembles that one a whole lot, literally. So
Right.
I wouldn't have to adapt to anything, move some pockets to other sides, and added the compatibility aspect to it, and reduced some of the wasted area. But other than that, I wanted to be at least kind of semi-familiar with where the stuff was going to be, in the sake of, I'm wearing one of these samples and I get in a bind and I need to grab X real quick. I know where it's going to be somewhat, but I was it was this past year in Tennessee when I really had to transfer into. I'm like, all right, we're going to make sure this Joker will handle the rest of the season, and
Right.
we had a lot of hunting ahead of us. I was like, if it makes it through this, all right, I'm comfortable, putting it out there, because I ain't gonna put nothing out there that ain't pretty proven.
Right.
I respect everybody's dollar, and if we're gonna get their dollar, I want them, getting what they traded it for a long time at least. And I didn't even know this guy I'm hunting with, and I'm like, it's gonna be a kind of a big deal,
Yeah.
and you don't even know me, and I don't even know you. He didn't know this was a big deal. Obviously, I didn't tell him. I'm like, it's gonna be my last hunt with my vest. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, you ready? I mean, there's no real connection there, but by the end of it, there was, because that's what turkey hunting does to folks.
Right.
Is kind of binds you together like that. And no, his name's Grayson. He lives in Tennessee,
Mm-hmm.
and Peyton. I don't know if it's a relative of my wife or not, or if it's like one of those friend cousins who you find out 15 years they're not really your cousin. They were just like your parents' friend, but you just assume they were because they were always around and at family functions and stuff or whatever. But his name's Scott. I actually went hunting with him this year. He's funny. Funny dude, and a good guy. And he linked me up with Grayson, and I was having to be coming back through. And I was like, I'll call him, and
Yeah.
see. I got a tag still. I already shot one, I think, and still had that one. And he was like, yeah, swing this way and just meet me at my house. Did that, introduced ourselves, and got in there pretty late. I want to say, because I'm late to everything, I feel like, but I feel like this was expected. It wasn't me being tardy. It was me, coming from. I guess I was on my way back from Kentucky actually, but that's what it was. I went to hunt with Dr. Chamberlain,
Oh,
Tussey,
yeah.
and all them in
Mhm.
Kentucky. They just told me Kentucky. I did find out. I don't know if you remember this, but I was really kind of in a bind there because I didn't know much about this trip. I just know I was supposed to be on it,
Right.
with NWTF and stuff. I wasn't in the email thread. They sent it to the wrong email. So they all knew about everything, when to be there, where to go, and stuff like that. I didn't. I had to finally text Matt or whoever was kind of heading it. I'm like, dude, I'm in Virginia now. What part do I go to? I just know Kentucky on this day. And he told me where. I'm like, geez, that's way up there.
On the wrong end of
Yeah,
the
I'm like,
state right now.
I literally shot a turkey in West Virginia 10 miles from there a couple years ago, you
Yeah.
know? And that was a long way from home. I thought you were talking about, Bowling Green area maybe.
Right.
So I wasn't in Virginia then. I was here when I was talking to him, headed to Georgia. And I wanted to go to Virginia. That's why I was trying to see if I could afford that, and I
I see.
definitely
Yeah.
couldn't. But anyway, so I was coming back from there, so it took me a lot longer to get to Tennessee than I had originally planned. Anyway, get there, and we wake up the next morning, and it he knows the area pretty well. He turkey hunts a lot, and he's a good dude.
Right.
He likes taking other folks turkey hunting. He got a good bit of property and stuff. His family does and everything, and lives in the pretty part of Tennessee that's always fun to hunt. And we wake up, and we go to another buddy of his house. I have no idea what's going on most of the time. I'm just like along for the ride or whatever.
Right.
I'm in his truck, head there, and it comes a flood pretty much as we're walking. We're hunting behind his buddy's house practically to kick the day off, and it comes. I think it comes a flood before we even get there, and we just kind of sit under some trees trying to see if we can wait it out. It's one of them spot showers that are heavy spot showers, and this bird is hammering. I hear it walking in, and I turkey hunt not for a living, but I turkey hunt a lot, and I'm blessed to be able to do that. But when I'm the new guy, I'm quiet. I don't, especially if I don't know them, And I hear this turkey gobbling on the way in. I don't think they hear it. Maybe, it's just walking. Depends on who's stepping at what time. If you're gonna hear it, and so I've kind of got it in the back of my mind. And then we get there, and they're kind of like, "Well, you ain't heard one or something." And then he fires off I was like, okay. And they knew exactly where that turkey was and stuff. I'm like, dang, I heard that on the way in, but they're going to find out we weren't on the huntable part until we got there anyway. Would not have mattered. So I could have left that part out.
Right.
But I don't know why I felt compelled to include that. Anyway, this turkey's hammering. But then the range just so dang much. It's almost, do we risk messing him up? Or can we get out of there? Because it has been sunrise for a while, and it's still very dark.
Yeah.
What these spot showers ain't spotty. They're like blanket at this point. So we go back to the truck before it stopped raining. As soon as we get in the truck, it stops raining. Go back to this other spot he knew of. We were thinking about going anyway. Turkey's there. I mean, probably everywhere have already flown down. We set up, and I remember we had to weave through some cattle.
Mm.
So we're coming through and trying. If you've never done that, like, had to incorporate a third party into a turkey hunt.
Yeah,
it's rough.
You're speaking of cows, or
yeah?
Okay, just make sure.
Or horses.
Or multiple people.
Horses,
horses and
thing.
cows are hard to get through.
Dogs. I've had to deal with them before, like walking the line, like going through a gate and getting to where you're going to try to get on a turkey and not bumping these dogs.
Right.
And this neighbor's pen, you got 38 rabbit dogs in there that's going to just sound off, and they ain't going to stop for 3 hours.
Yeah.
You ain't going to hear nothing if you break the wrong twig.
Yeah, we've dealt with that before.
Yeah,
multiple times.
And
you've dodged some buffaloes, haven't you?
Hmm?
You've also
Oh,
dodged
yeah,
some buffalo.
I forgot
through the
about
woods.
that. Yeah, I was on a reservation out there one time.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to figure out what kind of tracks these are. And I'm way on out there.
No,
I don't think there's a truck for counties. And I look up, and it's like, I mean, I'm in the open area, obviously. I ain't gonna tell you exactly where, but ain't many trees around.
Yeah.
And I see these, like, I can't tell. I mean, it just look like fur coming over horizon. And I'm like, what are these little things moving here? And it was the backs of buffalo about 100 yards away. And I'm about 400 yards away from my truck, and there ain't nothing I could even climb between me and my truck. And I'm looking, and I'm thinking I'm at like a watering hole or something like that, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was damp around there, and I'm like, dude, what are these? Never even registered that it could be buffalo.
Yeah.
And they were headed to that watering hole, and that's where I was. And thank goodness I looked up when I did, because there was about 600 of them.
Jeez.
I don't know. I mean, it was probably like 11.
Felt like it, I'm sure.
I saw not even one. I saw wood, and I was like, oh, that's enough for me.
Yeah. Other way. We go another way.
Got out of there. That could have been wild.
Oh, yeah.
There for a second. I don't think I can outrun them. I don't know how much of a head start I would need, but I didn't find out. But no, so we had to weave through this I mean, cattle pasture, and it is freaking full of cows.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's like, how they do their land or whatever, but there's a ton of cows, and I like hunting where cows are, because, you know, usually that's good pasture,
Right.
and that's where turkeys kind of go. I think they
Especially
do.
on a rainy day.
Right, and I think they do eat bugs and stuff that are under cow patties and stuff like that, and I think it's an attractant,
Yeah.
so to speak, preferred to than just a grass field maybe, but also the cows usually, if there's wooded area around a cow pasture, go look at it. It looks like you burned it because they've just beaten it down, and they're disrupting just as much, and they just it looks like an open hardwoods underneath it, kind of regardless of how the land folds. But anyway, so we're playing, the game of operation on how to go about these cows and stuff, and not bump the wrong one and scare these turkeys. We think are out there. We don't know that they're there.
Yeah.
And that's another thing. I'm sure you've done this before too. Is, have you ever like spent an hour and a half slipping through something and whatever because for real no reason, you just think a turkey is where it was one time. We get there and wasn't in there. There wasn't in there.
Yeah.
So we did all this, wasted a couple hours. There wound up being turkeys there. There's on the other side of the pond down. We found that out after the fact. We'll never know if we bumped them there or not. They didn't gobble at us. They didn't respond to us. Nothing like that. So chalk it up as a loss regardless. But anyway, so we are headed back to, I want to say, the original place. This is all within 10 minutes of each other. And he's telling me about his family and stuff. His family had strawberry farms or something like that. He's a genuine dude, and he's very open about. I've been blessed. My family, owns this town practically.
Yeah.
And we're sitting and stuff. I'm like, do they own that part? Because there's a couple strutters right there, like in front of us as we're parked, like eating Little Debbie or something. He's like, yeah, I think that they're like whoever. He's like, I can hunt that.
Yeah.
He said, let me let them know, and went up there. I think we went up there and he talked to him in person. I don't know. I didn't get out of the truck, so I don't know. He didn't call him. It was on the way, and he just hopped out and hollered at him and hopped back in, and we come in, and we had to get on top of him. And I would much rather hunt a turkey you hear first rather than see, but
right.
This was a very pretty scenario, so I like being in the open when it looks like this. I mean, just a blanket of yellow flowers, and the the pretty part of Tennessee. If y'all have ever been, it's got some really really pretty stuff up there, and we had to get on top of them, kind of come through. Also cows.
Yeah.
And the spot we're in, the spot they're in does not, so it's a little squared off pasture in, and it's got a gate, and we're slipping through and stuff, and trying to stay above them, so they have to come up and over into this corner, so to speak, and we're in the shadows, and we get up there, and pretty much, I think, okay, there's two gates, and somehow or another we communicate. I'm gonna get to that gate, and then it's just gonna be kind of whatever happens. If I got to move here or there, whatever, we ain't gonna kind of stay together no more. But and this is something I do if I'm with somebody, especially a stranger. I mean, I guess not especially a stranger, but including a stranger, is like be very definite and very clear and precise on like where you're at, and I'll tell a stranger or someone I know close, like, after now, don't move. Right. I don't care what happens. If I've got the gun, do not move, because I know where you're at.
Yeah.
And I don't want you to move and me think you're there and give me the open to shoot this direction, because what's going to happen if I look back and you ain't there, I ain't shooting at all, because I don't know. Even if it's in the wide open, I don't know, and I ain't risking it. And then I'm really gonna be mad at you.
Yeah, 100%.
If I don't shoot a turkey that I could have shot because you slipped on back and didn't tell me, or were doing something else or whatever. So he stayed put, but the gate he was thinking was not the gate I was thinking. So we're kind of hanging back for no reason. I'm like, all right, what, and then come to find out, he's like, no, I'm at the gate up there is where I was going to get. I'm like, oh, well, I didn't know there was another gate. That makes a lot more sense, because you don't want to have no confrontation there or whatever. But if you at least want to be like, hey, I think I got another idea, if we get a little closer. So we were on the same page, just didn't know it. Regardless, he says, all right, this is where I'm going to be. I said, okay, cool. And I go up there and get the calling these. And it was windy, and bluebird day now.
Yeah.
Rain's gone. Pressure's increasing. And these birds are freaking beautiful out there. Apparently, they spent the whole morning preening after the rain and stuff. And it wasn't a feather out of place. And, I mean, just really pretty birds. And I couldn't really see them the whole time until they finally broke over the hill. But I could almost stand up and see tips of the tail fan, and then I think I saw a hen or two. But I was trying my hardest just to get some calls down there just to catch their attention. It took a while of just wailing on a box, and I can see their heads stick up a little bit. And I'm far enough away where I can, like, crank on a box, look at them, and then see what they do, and then get back down, and they can't see me or at least know what I am at least.
Right.
And they come up, and it takes them. Yeah, it takes them 35 minutes probably to ease up there. And there's several different scenarios. If they come up this tree line, I'm in a bind, but I can do this, and I'm trying to eliminate that bind by doing this. But as long as I don't create a bind up to my right, if they come high, I'm in a good spot. I don't like getting necessarily to the very top. I like to get a little bit lower just in case. Ideally, I would like to call them, to the edge, and then if I have to pull them up, I think that's easier usually than pulling them up and having to pull them to the edge because they're already above you and they can already see that edge a little better. But there's also this, that kind of not welded wire, but like livestock panels, the 4x4 squares of like.
Yeah, hog wire.
Yeah, pretty much. We used to use it for rooster pens and chicken houses.
Right.
But you've got it lying in your backyard, courtesy of Sanderson. But makes a good fence too. And so I had to stick my gun barrel through it because there was nothing I could get in behind it, and I couldn't shoot through it. It wasn't like shooting through like dog pen. It was thick gauge, and I wasn't even about to just blast one off and at 6 feet in front of me. I don't know where those pellets would wind up,
Uh-uh.
So I was like, I got to get my barrel out there at least, and I think, my daggum shot cam, which I got a shot cam this year.
Right.
I'm glad I did. And I was trying to, like, literally film with it. And this came in my mind as they're coming up. I'm like, man, this is going to be beautiful. I'm just, like, following them with my barrel because I'm in the shadow, and I know they don't see me. I've done yelped a couple times. Then I had to yelp a couple times to pull them back. They were missing the mark a little bit, and I just had to steer them just a hair, work through a T. They're coming in, strutting and hammering, gobbling. And it is very high pressure. I mean, it's loud. And they're looking and hammering and looking and hammering, and one of those guys like gold tint to him and stuff. And I wound up shooting. Couldn't find out the SIM card had filled up. I forgot SIM cards exist or SD card existed because I know for a fact I charged it all night.
Right.
And I was a little let down. I'm not gonna lie, but regardless, so I shoot turkey flops and Grayson's behind me, not far behind me. He comes up and he's like, hey, way to go, man. I just thought of something. And he's like, yeah. He's kind of got his back turned to the turkey, and I don't. I'm trying to get my stuff up. Like, yeah, that was awesome, man. You see him do this? Yeah, did you see him do that? And I see the turkey get up. Okay. And I'm like, hold on, just a second. Yeah. And he's like, okay, I'll hold on, kind of whatever. And I'm like, oh crap! And then he realizes the turkey's kind of like, he kind of got. He was hit, but he was kind of flopping and gaining a little ground as he flopped, enough for me to get a little so I can get around Grace and get around this fence, get over this gate or whatever. And he tries to like shuffle over there and push the there's barbed wire on the edge of that hog wire or whatever you call it. And so I'm trying to get over that. We had to run down, obviously, 20 yards, get over and come back up the hill. And somehow or another, that barbed wire pops up between his legs as he's trying to, like, step on it. And I'm already over it. And he lets it go real fast. And I look back, and he's like, you just go, man. He's trying to – he ain't terribly tall either. So, yeah, I think he got him pretty good. And I'm looking back like he's going to hate me because I didn't stop to help him. But I got to make sure the turkey's dead and get over there. The turkey's dead and everything. But – beautiful turkey. Yeah. And I kept my vest on for that one, I'm pretty sure. I usually take it off and I'm like, okay, because I knew at the time that the other one had arrived and what would wind up being the final prototype, so to speak, of the new one. And from then on out, I'd be wearing it, and I did, and loved it. But yeah, that's a story we hadn't told, and
Yeah.
I feel like that could have kind of chimed in a little bit to the topic of it. Um, but other than that, I mean, you got some vest quirks that you roll with. What kind of calls you use in your vest? Or you make sure to bring and stuff that is optional, because some stuff I bring sometimes.
Yeah, I agree.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I don't always have the same amount of stuff with me at all times. Mainly just one slate call or glass call, whatever you want to call it. Make sure I have my wing bone and my mouth calls, and I mean everything else is window dressing there. For me.
Yeah.
But I like to have a thermocell with me. I cannot. I will turn around and go get it if I forget it.
Yeah.
That is one thing, because I do not do bug spray. I do not do DEET very well.
I used to.
Yeah, it makes me itch real bad for some reason. Always has. I don't know if I'm a little bit allergic to something in it,
No,
or if it's just that potent.
Potent. Yeah, it's working.
Yeah,
If it burns, it works.
right.
deal.
So
I've
I've got to have a thermocell with me at all times.
I
That's
used
about
to be
it.
not against thermocells, but I would much rather deep,
Right.
just because I don't have to fool with them. I've gotten better at being able to fool with stuff,
Right.
and that was a little bit of me just having to learn how to adapt a little bit
Mm-hmm.
for the long run effect.
Right.
I hate cameras still, kind of, but used to I would just. I mean, there was no hope, but now I'm it's not. It ain't second nature. It ain't like I know what I'm doing having one, but I remember to turn it on a lot more than I used to and stuff,
Right.
and remember to charge it before the hunt and stuff. But thermocells,
That's a big one.
it's worth it.
Yeah.
I do. I'll vouch for it. I use one pretty often, and I do keep deep with me, just in case.
Yeah, if I have a vest, it's gonna be in there.
It 100 proof or whatever they call it.
Right.
And that stuff is gonna make you burn,
Mm-hmm.
but
Now one
it'll
of the,
make a mosquito burn too. I guess.
oh yeah,
It ain't coming close.
It'll help.
And I permeter and everything.
Right.
I don't know if you do or
And
not.
I used to not.
Really?
I just started doing that this year for the first time, which is odd, but I mean,
it
it
helps.
helps. Yeah, I agree.
I have, knock on wood. I mean, I think the gaiters do help. If I'm not wearing gaiters,
Right.
I'm wearing Granges, which are 16 inches, and it's hard for a tick to get from the ground up. From there, you'll get ticks walking in the stuff, mainly laying down.
Yeah.
I've noticed a big difference in the years I used to not wear permeter and the years I do. And I keep it in my truck. I'll kind of put it on like bug spray, honestly.
Yeah. I think you're not supposed to do that.
I know, but I also don't want
Ticks.
or whatever
Lyme disease.
Lyme disease.
I've had Rocky Mountain spotted fever, and I don't want anything.
I could live
related
through
to that.
I feel like. I mean, it feels like it would suck for a while, but I don't want nothing that's lifelong.
Yeah.
I mean, the more and more folks I talk to, the more and more folks have it.
Oh
I'm
yeah,
like,
there's a ton of people
yeah.
with it. I mean, I know, 30, 40 people with it, and I mean, it's all from a tick bite.
Yep.
And then they can't even eat deer meat or a steak
Right.
and all this other stuff. I'm like, why would I deer hunt anymore if I
Mhm.
can't eat the dang deer meat?
But,
That would ruin a lot for me.
yeah.
So I'm very cautious of it now.
But I think it works, and I'm sure it does kind of work on mosquitoes too a little bit. But yeah, I got DEET in mine, the chalk and stuff, and then like so. And on these, I wanted to make sure. So these slate call compartments are up here in the front. I don't use two slates. One's gonna have a slate in it. One is gonna have probably my gloves and mask and shells and spare batteries and stuff like that. It's just a small pocket.
Right.
It's easier to manufacture and make them look the same. But a divider's in there so your sandpaper stuff can go there, because most times if I use slate call more than anything, or a glass call, Cody too. But the sandpaper and conditioner pad or whatever always wind up at the bottom.
Yep.
And for some reason or another, they blend in with the fabric, and you're just sliding over it with your finger when you need it most, and I can't ever find it. So that's a definite spot for those. And then the striker holder. I take 2 strikers. I cannot tell you, well, these are kind of the same that we're using here today. but I usually have one. Houndstooth made a good one. Diamond wood, maybe. I think that I don't know if that's the correct term for it, but I used theirs, and then I used the Cody striker that came with my call, and could not tell you what kind of wood it is. It just sounds really good to me, and I don't like the whole sliding in striker things as much because I've lost a lot of strikers in a vest like that. So this one opens up from the top, and then a dump pocket. You got to have a good dump pocket, and then the stuff in
Right.
my dump pocket is going to be, well, this one has its spare extenders in it, but I've kept everything from a little notebook journal thing in there to, um, now it's a little more GoPro battery stuff, a little more, tags. I keep those little baby zip ties in there for tags,
Yeah.
a knife. I don't really carry a ton of stuff. I do have a good pair of snips that actually had a lot to do with why I wanted to put those 1 inch slots in the back of the vest so I can put my snips in there and they don't
Right.
fumble around. They're just on my back at all times, kind of on my back hip. They're good ones. I think Easy Cut with a K, maybe. It's on Amazon. I got Breck. You or Dad one for Christmas. It's kind of some ratchet and snips. They're good. Yeah, I got a slate call and then a little box call and then my mouth call pouch. Usually, it winds up in that pocket, I think.
Yeah.
And I have actually taken 2 box calls before. Because that box call I got is good sometimes, but it don't sound like a hen in the hardwood. It's like one of those tall timber Gabriels or something like that. It's pretty high pitched and it'll make them gobble a couple times. But sometimes if I'm hunting hardwoods and I think that's the best option to use, I'll bring a more hardy box with me. That
Yeah.
and then the daggum. I don't like water bottles. You know that.
Oh, we ain't toting a water
I'm
bottle
not a
nowhere.
big fan of water bottles. Got this hydro pack hose and the thing. And I got one of these, and not like we ain't including this in the vest, but this is what I use. I don't know if the video's still rolling or not, but I put this hydro station pack on the back of it, and it buckles into the back part of the vest.
Yeah. So camelback with molly strap style
Pretty much.
stuff.
Right.
Um,
And it goes
will
in
work.
there, and then or anything really. Just a water bladder with a little hook on it, and zip ties come in handy. I zip ties.
Yeah.
Crap
Zip ties
ton.
work.
Just loop a zip tie through whatever you're trying to hold to it and zip it, cinch it down, and it's held just like a molly strapper would. And then I run the hose through here, and then it stays put, and that keeps the water bottle from sloshing or crunching, but it also is very convenient if you coughing or something like that, and you got a gun on your shoulder. It saved the day more than I thought it would. And that's a lot of the reason why I wear a vest is for the sake of hydration. I ain't gonna lie to you.
Right. Yeah. Because I haven't never carried the backpack style one very much.
Mhm.
I've just had a small water bladder that doesn't crinkle, doesn't get air in it and all that stuff, and I keep it in my side pocket of my leg. And it gets in the way sometimes. Obviously, I have wished I could have one better placed on my back or something like that. But it saved my life a few times
Oh
too,
yeah.
even though it's smaller. But I have ran out and then had a coughing
I was about to
episode
say,
that's pretty rough.
if you ain't blowing a turkey from
Yeah.
getting the dry mouth, the cotton mouth, and then having to walk a little extra further than you thought, and you ain't got nothing to drink.
Yeah.
I used to keep, and I don't anymore. Just I think since I've kind of started bringing the water bladder or whatever, I've always got water with me. But I used to bring that dry mouth stuff.
Oh yeah, spray.
Yeah, whatever it is, you get it in like the toothpaste section. I just hit that a couple times and roll on because what it's made to do is
Right.
cure dry mouth. And but then I started getting a little dehydrated pretty often, and I was like, I think there's a sign when you can't really talk or move your tongue. It's so dried out. You probably need to drink water.
Having a vest again is carrying my wing again.
Yeah,
Because I've missed having it on my back a lot.
That's
That is
probably
one of the main things I would like to carry a vest for. But
and I'm glad you brought that up. I think you had to bring that up when we did the Gamekeeper podcast.
yeah,
And we were kind of going through our vest when we were on there, and I forgot that, and I used it at least once. a hunt, if not more than once.
A
I use it.
wing?
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. I was making sure.
yeah, and I mean turkeys fly creeks. They do that, and like I'm telling you, I'm a believer in just using the wing whenever. Now you ain't
Oh
gotta like
yeah.
do a fly down. I don't cackle
Right.
when I do one. I like to leave the door open of suspense as much as I can. If I can let that turkey not wonder which hen I am, but rather am I a hen or a gobbler, then it branches off into which gobbler, which hen, then which direction. I want to leave it as open as possible, keep him as curious as possible. I don't want to reveal nothing. If I calculate it, he probably knows as a hen. He might have hens with him.
Right.
He might have came there because he thought it was a gobbler or not a hen. I don't know. And I don't usually, when I do fly down, and this is a theory, but more times than not, a gobbler I think drops down. If you watch them, a lot of times if it kind of spirals down real quick like that, I think it's usually a gobbler. A hen will,
Right.
and fly down a little more. Now a lot of them do cackle and stuff. Um, I don't know that I've heard a gobbler cackle like that, but I could be wrong. Um, but I don't necessarily. And then a lot of times the hen that I'm trying to think if it's the hen on the ground first or last. I can't remember. I watched it at least twice in the past 2 years, and it was consistent with one or the other. I think I literally took notes on it. I'll have to go back and look. I don't want to lie to you. But there's usually one hen. Sometimes do like an assembly yelp, like a yelp, 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 yelp. Not always in the spring. A lot in the fall. I know they do. But usually there's one. And she's got the same whatever that cadence is. It's the same thing over and over again, over and over again. And she's walking towards the gobbler over and over again. And she's the one he's waiting on. It seems
Mm-hmm.
like. The other ones can come and go, and they're frolicking around and then cutting back and forth. And it's almost like they don't exist at all. He's waiting on that one that's just on the beeline, and like they know what they're doing. They're God's creatures. They're designed to do that. But but I don't. A lot of times, and kind of a little more as of the past season or two, is if I'll do a fly down, and especially if he responds. And by responding, don't mean he has to gobble at it or something like that. If he shuts up after I fly down, that's a response.
Yeah.
I think a good one.
I agree.
You might have just turned him. You just opened up a Pandora's box, and this is what is kind of going through my mind. I can think of a very specific instance in Kentucky a couple years ago. Tree yelped to a gobbler a couple times. He answered me once or twice, cut it off. And he kind of doing the once or twice, 3 in a row gobbles. I'm like, he's getting ready to pitch more than likely, and they'll shut up, and then sometimes they'll just gobble and they ain't moved, and you're like, well, dang, I thought for sure he's on the ground, but I did a fly down after one of his gobbles, and he didn't say nothing after that, and I'm like, okay, and that's when I'm kind of just sitting there waiting, like, be cool if you did gobble or something. And the next thing I hear is, and
Mm-hmm.
he's on the ridge in front of me, and it is, and then he hammers, and it is rock your chest hammer, and it was
Yeah.
awesome. Shot him at freaking 15 yards coming across the creek at me. It was awesome. But no, aside from that, when they shut up, sometimes that means they're moving.
Oh
Sometimes they're
yeah.
going the other way.
Yeah. I mean, that can be going the wrong direction, but
You know,
yeah, quiet turkey's normally moving.
mm,
So whether it's 2 year away from you.
or thinking about moving.
Yeah.
And sometimes that is the time to call. But that's when I'll fly down and I'll scratch a little bit first, let him know. I want him to know where I'm at. I don't want him to, and sometimes I have. And I can think of an instance with Brett a couple years ago. We were out hunting the edge of a field, and there was these turkeys in a creek on the far side of it. I don't know if they have flown down or not. I know they were at least getting ready to. They ain't done a ton in a while. I haven't heard them on the ground or in the tree, but I did do a fly down and left it open on the end. It was just like a and then no coming down, no leaves, nothing like that. Hoping to emulate, if that's a word, emulate a hen flying into the open.
Right.
I don't know. They came in there.
Yeah.
Something worked. It might not have been that, but wanted to see if I could insinuate that I'm going away from the woods. I don't know if it worked, but like I said, Breck shot him one. We both shot one, didn't we? Yep. Um, which is always good because some fog is bad, some fog is good. What sucks for you sucks for the turkey if they can't. They need to use their ears if they can't see, or they need to walk closer if they can't see. So just trying to lure them into an area where they're gonna have to be vocal, or they're gonna have to walk closer, and they or both. They gobbled all the way in and walked right down it, right to where it seemed like one had flown down. We did some calling though after we did the fly down on that one. But yeah. You got anything else for a wrapper?
What?
You got anything else for a wrapper up?
That's about all I got. Just excited about it.
Yeah, no, I'm thrilled.
So
I mean,
glad to finally see it.
I'm a very critiquey guy, and I critique Chase Vouch.
Oh yeah.
I'm nitpicky. I like things to be right and perfect, and I'm even more critical of myself, probably more than anything else in the world. And I'm not saying like we designed a great vest. I think everything about it is. If I could change something about it, I would have done it. We had long enough to do that. There was no rushing this. We waited. We actually added on like 2 seasons to it because we didn't want to rush it. We were just going to do one. It was supposed to come out last year, and I said if it ain't, there's still things I'd rather change.
Right.